Don,
Yes.
it's been a journey here this last year developing DroneEutopia.
Yes, it has.
And
It's been a challenge.
Turning out to be a spectacular product for anybody in the drone community to be able to take their drone skills and then turn it into a business.
Here's how it works. You know, there's a lot of, let's go back to August of 2016 when the FAA passed the Part 107 for drone pilots. All it means is if you wanted to make money, you had, commercially, you had to become a Part 107 licensed pilot. That means you had to study some ground school and you had to learn some new rules and stuff like that. And then you had to also know how to fly. And if you want to stay in business, run a business. So their whole idea behind this software was there's a ton of software out there for mapping and 3D modeling and, to control the flights and do everything under the sun. In Vegas last year, and it was jammed with booths of people with all kinds of stuff, new types of drones, everything, and there's incredible things. But there wasn't a single person offering software to help these guys run a business profitably.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So what they didn't have, what they have is Excel and Word and who knows, whatever, QuickBooks, Salesforce, or some kind of contact manager, and all that type of stuff. It's all scattered all over the place. They can't take it with them when they go. It's all on their computer back at home or in their laptop, but then they get out in the field and they're trying to fly, and everything's on different spots. You got a spreadsheet over here, you got your artwork over here, you got your camera, all your stuff you're grabbing off your cameras someplace else, your shot list, your checklists, where they don't even have software for those things. Now they do. Now it's all in one thing. All their customer relations management, their CRM is built into it. You get somebody into the system and you can take care of it. You can communicate with them all kinds of ways. With emails, with PDFs you can attach to them that you can generate on the fly, all kinds of different things. And then you can do project management with them. And you can design all this stuff. It's really powerful software because we set it up with a bunch of templates. So, for example, an extreme sports flight. And this is something we set up, but it's highly modifiable by them, easily modifiable. So they put all their assets in there. They can import all their contacts too, by the way.
So their assets being their drone, their batteries, all the gear that they need to take to a shoot.
Their landing pads, their extra batteries, their filters, their everything.
Sunscreen, water, everything.
So everything that you got it, because when you get out on site, if you're out in Lubbock and you're in a cotton field, for example, you're not anywhere near, you don't even have internet access most of the time out there.
Right.
And so you've got to have everything with you. And if you forgot something, it's 2 hours back into town and, you can't get your job done, and then you've missed your window of opportunity, you wasted some time, you lost some money. Then you got to do invoicing, you got to do quoting, you got to do, take payments and be able to send out a statement to people, those types of things. Got all the important things for what they need to do. So they can now have stuff like, well, what's the temperature, what's the wind, what's the phase of the moon, what's the solar activity, all that stuff recorded. Of course, their GPS coordinates can be grabbed as well. Flight times, it pauses, up, downs, it keeps track of their hours that they have on their drone and on their propellers, which is a big thing, as well as, how many times they've used their batteries and so on and so forth. All that stuff can be tracked for them. They just set it up real easily. And then they have shot lists and checklists. Now, checklists, there's a pre-flight checklist, there's a mid-flight checklist, there's a post-flight checklist. They are all easily customizable. We have built them in for you. But you want to put in your own stuff, so you put in your own drone and you put in your own equipment, and then there's something you want to add to the checklist for your stuff. That's what you do.
The integration of this whole thing means that you put in a customer's name one time, you put in their phone number one time, you put in their email address one time, and it flows through every single thing, whether we've created as a template or they modify a template or they create a brand new one, all the way through to the invoice, the line items on the invoice, on the quotes, on the proposals, on the follow-up invoicing, on the still owe some money,
the
dunning. All of it is, you enter it once and it flows through the whole thing versus having it in Excel, having to copy and paste it into a Word document, making sure that the spelling's always right, flowing it to the CRM, flowing it to Salesforce. None of it's integrated. We've changed all of that, haven't we?
Yes, we have. And the other thing that we need to discuss is shot lists.
Mm-hmm.
And now to a drone pilot, that means something.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know much about it, they have a whole lot of different ways, shots they can do. A rear reveal, a side, a rising, a descending.
Mm-hmm.
It's all, and there's certain ones you want to use for movie industry, other ones for sports, other ones for inspecting a bridge or a building, and so on. And you want to have these in a certain sequence. If you're doing a construction progression project, you're going to want to start at the same altitude, at the same corner every time, and do the exact same pattern over the entire construction site.
Right.
It's going to be right there in your list.
Mm-hmm.
You got to share that with somebody else. You're going to have the ability to share that with them, so they can take a copy, put it on their iPad, because it's all iPad based. This is all completely iPad based. They can take that and they can know what exactly to do.
Design this right from the get-go so that it would always work standalone.
Yes, it will.
You get new construction, it might be out in the middle of nowhere.
Agriculture is a huge one. So agriculture is, of course, not near big cities.
Right.
As a rule, there might be a few, but for the most part, they're out in the nowhere.
In the boondocks.
Yeah, in the boondocks. They're out there, and there's nothing. There's no services. If they have internet service, it's so slow and overloaded that it's not reliable.
Yeah.
So ours works. And then you can, when you get back, anything you need to do to send out an email or do something like that, once you're back in, it's no problem. When an update comes out with some new features and stuff like that, you can just push a button and it's going to download the new version and it's going to update everything.
The design of this was always made in a way so that it could go enterprise level, and so you could have a team of people. As you become good at lining up the jobs, you can have other pilots fly the jobs for you. If you're the pilot in control and you have a non-licensed pilot, as long as you are responsible for that job, you can create the job and put it into their iPad, and they know exactly what to do, even if you're not there.
Eventually, that's just a little bit in the future, but that's okay to talk about some of the great features, where you could share the project page, essentially, or the portion of the project page that they need, which would be when they got to be there, who their contact is, all that type of information, what the job is, when they're supposed to be there, and what they're supposed to do. The checklists, they'll all be there for them. Right. They'll have their own equipment. They can modify it at that point in time for their equipment if they're using something different than what's sent over. But the shot list will be the same.
Right.
And if I'm sending the shot list to you, I want you to follow that shot. And as you do it, you check it off. As they get done, you look it over, see, we did that, and then I have a record that it's all happened. And I can send that off to my client.
Right. And one of the strong parts of DroneEutopia is because all practice flights are being logged, all commercial flights are being logged. The way the insurance industry is working out for the drone industry is that they're selling insurance by the job. And as long as...
By the hour sometimes,
By the hour, right.
Yeah.
And so, but the insurers want to know that you've got a certain number of hours under your belt, that you haven't had accidents and all that stuff. And we're able to do a report for the insurance carriers that gives them the confidence that you are professional, and of course that drives the insurance rate down for that job whenever you're contracting with them.
If it's as simple as propeller fails. If you can show you put it on 2 hours ago, it's a brand new propeller, and your maintenance log is right there, and you can't modify your maintenance log. You say, look, guys, it was a brand new propeller.
Yeah.
I'm not a high risk. I was doing everything by the book. So please insure me again.
Exactly. So all in all, when somebody is trying to run a business, I always say to them, well, you could hire somebody to help you with this. Now, you're going to pay them $10 or $12 or $15 an hour, or for the equivalent of 2 or 3 or 4 hours of that kind of help, you're going to end up with an assistant that does everything exactly as you want, when you want, with no misspelling, with no math errors, with none of those issues, and isn't going to quit, isn't going to leave you.
That's the biggest one. You're not going to have to train them more than once.
Right. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing. So now if you are working on a job, you can take the iPad and actually aim it at something the client is telling you, take a picture, and it goes right into that project, doesn't it?
Yep.
And same with audio, and same with video. And we call those containers.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're called containers in FileMaker.
Right.
That's what it's built in, is FileMaker software.
Right, which is something that is an Apple-owned company.
Fully owned subsidiary, yes.
Right. The evolution of this is now 32 years worth, I think.
1985.
1985. And while there has been a lot of relational databases come and go, including Microsoft, it's had a whole progression of them.
Microsoft Access, yeah.
Right, whole progression of them that have all failed. FileMaker keeps on charging through and getting stronger and better.
Getting better, yeah. They've actually changed their whole model so that it's subscription-based, and they keep their prices pretty darn reasonable. And as a result, they have a lot more money to throw into development, and they've added a lot of great features that make it even more of a rapid application development software program.
Right.
And that's really important because you want to be able to build those things fast.
Right.
You know, and quickly and reliably, and, you know, have a good foundation that's going to be there for you a year from now, 5 years from now. So FileMaker is going to be around for a while.
Right. Just specking out, buying 5 iPads, and I was getting them for $408 a piece.
And nice ones, yeah.
Nice ones, right. And you're running your entire business on something that's costing you $30, $40, $50 a month and an iPad, and you couldn't get more efficient than this.
Yeah, and it's all with you.
Right. It's always with you, and it works in the middle of nowhere. You could be in the middle of the Gobi Desert, and it would work.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything just slides in and out. What you need is right there at your fingertips. You can get to it quickly. You can get back to where you were.
It knows where you are in the system, and it knows and anticipates that the next piece of information that you need is going to be one touch away, and that slides out, and then it shows you the information you need because it knows it's completely related to exactly where you are.
Yeah, and you may want to modify that or add to it or, you know, do something and then close it back up.
Right. And when you look at traditional ways of doing it with menu systems, we have no menu, really.
Not really.
Not at all.
No.
And because this new type of interface, which takes just a little bit of getting used to, but once you understand that, and it's got a great help system, to be able to access the very next step you're going to need with one click, because it was always built for the iPad, wasn't it?
Yes. It was designed for an iPad.
And so we just integrated the relationship marketing system, which is super cool. We implemented it in a different system than DroneEutopia, and it worked out so well. It took somebody's reputation from the pits.
Yes.
You know,
2 point something.
it wasn't even in
Yeah.
some areas. It wasn't even 2.
Yeah.
And the stats show that if you have 2 out of 5 stars, 78% of the people that see that low rating won't even give you the time of day.
Yeah, they're out of here.
Now that same company is running 4.65 average stars, and they have over 100 wonderful reviews.
Yes, they do.
And we've integrated all of that into DroneEutopia so that asking somebody for a nice review is literally one click, one touch on the iPad to initiate them getting a whole series of correspondence,
Right.
and saying, "Hey, would you please give me a great review?"
That'd be, yeah, it's that easy.
Right.
It already has their phone number because they're your customer.
Right.
Okay, so we have their phone number, we have their email address.
Their
All we
name.
need is their permission,
Yeah.
and we make it very easy for them.
Right. We're fully integrated.
Fully integrated. It's just a one boom, and it's off, and then you don't worry about it. It'll show up, and if it's you didn't do that great a job, you got a chance to salvage the relationship before it gets bad news out there on the internet for you with the system. So that's the nice thing about it.
Yeah, you can avoid the permanent bad marks as much as possible.
And you can salvage a client that you didn't realize you had problems with, possibly.
Right,
You
because
know.
they'll gripe online before they'll tell you to your face.
That's right.
So it can be integrated. The results of all
Right.
these wonderful reviews end up on their personal website page, a business website page. And so now you've got this showcase of good reviews.
And they keep coming in.
And they keep coming in.
And what's even better than that is that we also offer ways to get business to their webpage.
Exactly.
You know, we have a method because we have what we call a white hat matrix. We have a sales funnel, which is tuned to answer the questions, educate the customers. The structure, the marketing portion of this thing, when it gets rolling, and it doesn't take that long to get them up to speed. So now we got the whole package. Okay, we got the marketing to bring customers to them.
Right.
We got the software to allow them to run their business profitably.
Right.
And then we got the reputation marketing software to keep their ratings high.
We've actually even coined a name, Drone Trifecta.
Drone Trifecta. And that's what it is. I mean, now you're not going to get that from anybody else. Everybody else specializes. Everybody wants to do GPI or GIS or some kind of mapping or 3D modeling or zooming and it's all wonderful things. It really is. But they're all in the technical aspects of things. They're not on how do I get the business, how do I run the business, and how do I keep the business.
Right. Because buying a drone is expensive, keeping it in the air is expensive, insurance is expensive. And that was the missing link. We wanted to be able to help the Part 107 operators to have the very best software that they could get anywhere on the planet, and to have it be efficient, fast, portable, work off the grid, no problem, and coordinate back with their system once they get back to civilization.
And steadily improved. We're going to keep this as a, we're not going to add features you never use. We're going to add features that you want.
When they are in the field and they go, geez, I wish I had a button right here that would do that, they can literally stay inside of DroneEutopia and communicate with us.
They can record their screen if there's a process that's involved with it. Maybe it's a problem, maybe there's a bug. Now we do our best to stamp those out before we ever go live, but there's always unique ways to find these things. So when it happens, they can go right into the system, push a button, and start recording and say, here's what I did. This, touch that, and you see this happened. And then they hit a button and it uploads.
Right.
As soon as they're back on the internet, if they're not on the internet, it uploads right away. They can send it out. And when they send it out, that's then we get it automatically. We get notified from DroneEutopia software, and we can watch that video and see what's going on.
We have an official beta tester group of a couple dozen Part 107 commercial pilots.
Right.
So they know the business inside out. They're kind of our advisory board. We are up to version 2.08. We've been giving them copies, and we've been getting good constant feedback from them and incorporating virtually all of it. And so we're getting ready for the big release now, which is very exciting, and to start making the Part 107 operators of the world a lot more profitable. We like to say that they need to fly safe, fly well, and fly profitably. That's our mission, pretty much, in 6 words.
There it is.
Yep.
Amazing piece of software. It's subscription-based. You want to have the features we're going to be keeping adding to this thing. You need the capability of this thing because it's going to make your life so much easier. It's going to be one of the best investments you ever make in your business.
Right. It's constantly growing. It's constantly updated. All the new rules and regulations and limitations. And we've got a feature that we probably shouldn't talk about, but it's so cool. I'll just leave it as a cliffhanger. No. We're just going to leave it as a cliffhanger because we really need to do a separate video on that feature because it's so dramatic and so powerful, and it is going to speed up whatever any DroneEutopia subscriber needs to do in such a way that they're going to wonder how they could ever have done this without DroneEutopia.
Exactly. Well, and there's one more thing we did leave out, and that is that we have a plan, at the moment at least, for allowing you to get the software for free.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
It's not just a plan. It's a formally worked out system.
Yeah, it's a worked out system.
That takes any DroneEutopia subscriber and basically says, if you know other drone operators and you recommend it because you really truly believe that this is the best thing ever for a Part 107 pilot,
right?
You recommend it to 5 people that subscribe. Your subscription is free.
It's free.
Free.
Every month.
Completely free.
Yeah.
So who else gives you the best software on the planet for free? Not very many people.
And when you give it to your 5-year friends, you recommend 5-year friends, guess what? They're going to be happy too.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're really proud as papas on this thing, and we're getting ready to roll it out as soon as you get back from this big conference that you're a big celebrity at. You've got worldwide authority and stature. People come up to you and say, hey, Don. Yeah, and because you are an expert in FileMaker.
Yes, I am.
And so this is expert software in an expert field of Part 107 usage, and it has the features that a big group of beta testers have been looking at and giving us feedback and writing tickets up and looking
and they love it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
we're going to just roll it out and then tell you more about the White Hat Matrix and this big surprise, which is just awesome.
it's got all the stuff you need to get going right now.
Oh.
And then as we get more feedback, as we get your feedback, then what we do is we start adding new features that everybody wants.
Right.
That's like every piece of software.
Yeah. I mean,
You don't worry about it.
You could
You know?
hire somebody for 3 hours a month, or you could get DroneEutopia for the whole month for the same amount of money.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the model that we have, and it's built to be very cost effective and to make you profitable.
Right.
And so that's the whole premise of what we do. And in all of our software is like we want to make sure that the user of the software ends up being profitable. That's our goal. Always has been. All right. So
Alrighty.
say bye,
Bye.
and we're out of here.
Thanks very much.